Amid Beis, and Bemes, in a way, we're going to start. This is the beginning of Eruvin, and we mentioned in the Mishnah something called a mavoi. A mavoi is the alleyway, and we said that the Chachamim said you can't carry in a mavoi unless there's some type of hecker, some type of recognition. People were worried that you'd see someone carrying in a mavoi, and they'd say it's a Rishus Harabim. They'd also come to carry in a Rishus Harabim. Now, Midoraisa really is a Rishus Hayachid. It's got 3 walls around it, but it's open on one end, and people don't live in there, so it's an area. So people might think, if I can carry there, I can carry in Rishus Harabim. So to avert that problem, the Chacham said you have to make a tikkun in the mavoi, mitakin the mavoi. You can mitakin the mavoi one or 2 ways, either through a korah across me on the top, or through a lechi, a side post. And we said that it can't be higher, according to the Chacham, 20 by 10. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it can be even higher than that. So now, how would you go ahead and, let's say it's higher than 20. What would you do to go ahead and correct that? So the easiest thing to do is to go ahead and lower the beam, or you can lower the floor. So we're going to opt with what the lowering of the floor, and we're going to discuss that. Now, I figured I'm going to do the Gemara outside first. I have a chart. I sent it on the phone. You should have it on your phone. If you don't have it on your phone, I'm going to post it right now on the
Blaze, you got to stop posting on both chats. I didn't get it.
Oh, I only post on one. You have to go on the other one. I'm sorry. So you'll have it on the Zoom as soon as I figure out how to do this, right? Okay, let me do this.
I only have one chat.
What?
I don't have both chats either. Yeah.
Well, we didn't want you on the other one. Share screen. There you go. Okay, we're in business. Guys, we're in business?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's see what we're looking at. You have it's higher than 20, and you're doing 1 or 2 things. You're lowering it. Says Rav Yosef, you lower it 1 tefach. In other words, the question is, of course, you're lowering it anything below 20. That's obvious. How much width into the mavoi do you have to go ahead and hollow out? In other words, of course, to lower it, just to lower the beam by digging out your basement, that's a double pashut. The question is, how much are we recessing into the mavoi from the ditch that we're lowering? We're going into the mavoi. How much are we going in? So, according to Rabbi Yosef, 1 tefach, and according to Abaya, 4 tefachim. So, according to Rabbi Yosef, 1 tefach, according to Abaya, 4 tefachim. So again, you don't even need a picture for this. Obviously, you're going ahead and you're digging into the alleyway, either 1 tefach or 4 tefachim. 1 tefach or 4 tefachim. Now, there's going to be 4 suggestions as to what the machlokes is predicated upon. The first one is whether it's mutter to go ahead and be under the beam, to carry under the beam or not. According to Rabbi Yosef, it is. So you're under the beam, you look up, you have a hecker, very good. That's all you need. Underneath the beam, go ahead, the beam is a tefach wide at top, dig a tefach wide below, and you got it good because you can carry there. Later, Rabbi, you can't carry there. Later, Rabbi, you can't carry there. So therefore, you have to go ahead and begin your excavation beyond the beam. In other words, towards the back of the alley. Now, once you're not under the beam, Rashi tells us you have to go ahead and excavate a makom chashuv. A makom chashuv is 4 tefachim. In other words, not 2 tefachim, not 3 tefachim. There's no dinalavit over here. You excavate the next chashuv shir, which is 4 tefachim. The mela, that will be the machlokes. Like Rabbi Yosef 1 tefach because it's put underneath the beam. Like Rabbi 4 tefachim because it's usher to be underneath the beam. Therefore, recess it from the inside post of the beam, bring it towards the back 4 tefachim, and you're good. A second shot, no. Kuli Alma holds your mutter underneath the beam. Even a Abaye would hold you underneath the beam. Question, if that's the case, what's the Sfaras HaMachlokes? Rabbi Yosef holds the beam works because of hecker. It's recognition. Therefore, underneath the beam, Amakar, it's very good. 1. Abaya, it works als mechitza. It's someone's trying to get in. I have to let them in, but I don't know how to get them in. Let me see. Okay. Howie. Okay. It works als mechitza, fellas, right? If you're looking at the chart, I have to make it a little smaller so you'll be able to see the words I wrote there. Now, mechitza, why is it works als mechitza? Do you need 4 tefachim? Why don't you just say it works als mechitza and make it 1 tefach? Because the halacha is a mechitza is only considered a wall if it partitions an area of chashivas. In other words, if you have a wall and behind that wall is 1 tefach, that's not a wall. It's a physical wall. It's not a halachic wall. So in order to be a halachic wall, guys, it's got to be that it partitions an area of 4 tefachim. That would be a beautiful hezbollah to the machlokes. Light Rabbi Yosef 1 tefach because it's mitam heka. Light Abaya, it's mitam chitza. Oh, it's not mitam chitza. It's got to go ahead and be partition. It's got to be mochates between an area of it's 4 tefachim.
Let's just understand this. You say you have to dig into the mavoi, right? What about the width of the mavoi? You have to do just 1 line, or you have to go all the way?
No, I would think you go across the width of the mavoi.
You have to go the whole width.
Yeah, I would think so. Now, the third pshat is that kuliyama holds mishum heker. In other words, it's not tali machlokes. It's because heker, the third pshat. And here's the machlokes. Below is like above. In other words, whatever is above, whatever heker I have below, is below. So Rabbi Yosef says, just like 1 tefach is the beam above, I can make 1 tefach below. Later by no. The heker, I hold below is not like above. I hold below is not like above, and therefore I have to go ahead and make more than 1, and it's 4. The third pshat, Kuliyama says below is like above. Even Abaye would hold above is like below. And what's the machlokes predicated upon? Whether I'm worried about it rubbing out and you lose your heker. According to Rabbi Yosef, you're not worried, therefore keep it as 1. According to Abaya, I am worried, therefore you have to make it the next, which is a machum chashav, which is 4. So this would be the machlokes in the how to learn pshat over here. This would be the machlokes. Let's see it in the Gemara now. So again, we have a mavoi that is too high. Instead of lowering the beam, we're lowering the ground. Right? How much do you lower? Says Rabbi Yosef 1 tefach. Says the Chachamim, says Abaya 4 tefachim. Again, we're beginning from Dalid Amid Beis, 5 lines from the bottom. If the mother was higher than 20 amas, you're coming to diminish it. How much do you have to diminish? Says whatever it takes to go ahead and make the chalal, the ear space, below 20, right? Guys, it's all about ear space, correct? So whatever excavation I make below that diminishes the airspace, that's great. So what's the Gemara's kasha kama? It's pasha. After the Gemara, no, ela rachboy bekama. The width, meya, the width. How much width do you have to go ahead and do it? Rabbi Yosef Omar tefach, Abaya Omar Abba. Rabbi Yosef says a tefach, Abaya says 4 tefachim. Again, it behooves us. I always say this, guys. You should in learning. How do you know a tefachim or amis? It's always the opposite. If the number is female, then the noun is male. If the number is male, then the noun is female. So arba is amos, and arba'ah, which is female, is tfachim, which is male. So it's always in these Gemaras you can get mixed up. Says the Gemara, very good. So therefore he says 1, he says 4. Says the Gemara, what's this first machlokes? Again, we have 4 ways to explain it. According to Rabbi Yosef, you can go ahead and be mishtamish underneath the kaira, and therefore all you need is the heker underneath the kaira, amid aleph. And according to Abaya, arba'a. Why? You can't use underneath the kaira, so you don't have a heker. So again, and as we spoke out, and once you're not going to be underneath the kaira, guys, you're going to have to go ahead and make 4 tefachim, because that's the place of chashivas. That's where I know, I can tell you like. The kuliyalma, this is the second way to explain things. Kasava mutal lishtamish tachas kaira. Everyone holds you can go ahead. Even a buyer who says 4 holds. So what's the svaras hamachlokes, right? Ma'asav Rabbi Yosef holds kaira mishum heka. That kaira works as heka, so it's enough, right? 1 tefach. Ma'asav and Abaya holds kaira mishum mechitza, and a mechitza has to be partitioned. How large an area, guys? 4 tefach, a machum chashiv, which is 4 tefachim. That's the second way to explain the machlokes. A third way to explain the machlokes, you by Yisema, the kuliyalma kaira mishum heka. Everyone says curry is mishum heka. So if that's the case, it's shver abaya. If it's mishum heka, why do you need 4 tefachim? V'hacha beheka shel mata beheka shel ma'ila kamiflagi. The heka above and heka below, or below, as they say in English. or below. The Masava, I mean, Masava, Amrina and Heka Shal Mata Heka Shal Maila, says Rabbi Yosef, the below Heka is the same as the above Heka, so the excavation just it can't be any wider than that, which is one. Umasava and Abaya holds Lo Amrina and Heka Shal Mata Heka Shal Maila, so you need once you get off again, guys, once you're getting off one tefach, it's got to be choshev, we go to 4 tefachim. And the final teretz, be by the same with the kuliyama, I mean, on heka shal mata heka shal maila, everyone holds it's the same, one above, one below. The question is whether it's going to get rubbed out or not. Rabbi Yosef is not going to Shem, it's going to get rubbed out one below, and the heka will remain intact. And by his word, no, Shema Yifchais. And you're going to go ahead and diminish it, and then you lose it. So if you have 4 tefachim, even if you diminish a little bit, you still have what? Something else to remind you. That's the 4 ways to explain the machlokes. Are we good?
Is that like when it says the Eruv ends here? That's when it says the Eruv ends here. There's a sign the Eruv ends. That's like a hekarosa, I guess, you know.
Yeah, that's more than a hecker. It's a warning. it's right. It's cool. Anyway, the next Gemara is going to be the opposite, guys. When the mavoi is below 10 tefachim. When the mavoi is below 10 tefachim. Now, I explained the other Gemara the wrong way. I explained you're excavating. Really, you're not excavating. You're building a platform. I really should erase everything I just said. Because you think about it, guys, if it's too high, if you're going to dig down, you're creating a bigger difference. So really what you were doing there, I'm surprised all the construction guys didn't get on my case, right? That really, in the first case, you're building a platform to go ahead to make the airspace. Here, where it's too low, then you're going to go ahead and dig down. So I apologize, but Baruch Hashem, I had a chance to correct myself. Okay, so now there is a difference between this case and the case we just had. In the case we just had, we had an existing mavoi. You had walls that were correct walls. It's just that your mavoi, your kaira was too high. Over here, where the walls are not tetfachim high, right? In this case, you're creating the mavoi, fellas. It's not a mavoi that's puzzle. In Yiddish, we say, das is nicht kein mavoi, right? There's a big distinction. Over here, you're creating it. And you're creating it by digging down. Okay. To facilitate understanding this, I open up your books. I want you to take a look, and Steve, you'll get on the thing. I want you to take a look at page 5. Page 5, the first picture at the top. I should make you like co-host and be able to post this on my thing over here. Because I have no gedol. To scroll down the book takes 1,000,000 years. You got the picture? So, got it? You sure? Okay. Guys, look at this picture. You have a hole on the side in front, right? You have a hole on the side, and in front, you have a hole on the side, and you have a mavoi going across. So this was, for all intents and purposes, this was a great mavoi. That piece, that aleph, right? That aleph has to be 4 tefachim. That aleph has to be 4 tefachim. So picture, right? If that aleph is 4 tefachim, and that, right, then you're good. Take a look at picture 26 at the bottom of page 4. If that mavoi that you have a slide over there, right? If that's dalid, right? If that's dalid, then it's even good up to 10. So let's see what's going on over here. If the pachas, it was less than 10 tefachim. It was less than 10 tefachim, meaning the mavoi was less than 10, and you want to create the mavoi. And now you're excavating to go ahead and lower. So now that the walls will be 10 tefachim high. Lashlimah lasara. Kama chaykek. How much do you have to dig to create a mavoi? How much do you have to dig? Says the Marmini kama chaykek. Kama tzarchle. As much as it takes, the same question as before, to leave an airspace of 10 tefachim. Ella mashchay. Going ahead in towards the back of the mavoi. How much do you have to dig? In the first case, it was how much do you have to build up to diminish the airspace, and here it's how much do you have to build to go ahead to dig to go ahead and make it a lot larger. Rabbi Yosef Omar b'dalit tfachim. Rabbi Yosef says if it's enough 4 tfachim, Abaya Omar arba amis. Abaya says 4 amis. Abaya says 4 amis. Lema, let us say, b'derav Ami v'Ravasi k'miflagi. Machlokes Rabbi Yosef and Abaya depends upon machlokes between Rav Ami and Ravasi. The Itmar Mavoi shenifritz mitzidoi. That's the picture we just looked at. A Mavoi that a hole on the side, klape rosho, and the pirza was at the beginning of the alleyway. It was the beginning of the Mavoi. Itmar mishmei Rav Ami v'Ravasi. We learned the name of Rav Ami and Ravasi. Im yesham pas dalid. If you have a wall, that little on the left side of the wall, that's 10 tfachim. Mata b'pirza arasara. Then it's going to be mata up till 10. Even up to 10 will be muta. Then lav, but if you don't have 4, then pachas mishleisha matir, shleisha eina matir. Okay, now let's look at the picture again, and I'll explain. Look at the picture 26, the one on the bottom, page 4. If you have that left post that you're looking at, that left post is 4 tfachim. For all intents and purposes, you have a completed mavoi, because the kaira is on an area of 4 tfachim. In other words, that little post is a mavoi. That little post is considered a mavoi. It goes in 4 tfachim, it's a mavoi with a kaira. Now, if I have existing mavoi, as long as I don't have a pirza, it's kosher. A pirza is up to 10 amis. As long as it doesn't supersede 10 amis, I'm good. So therefore, what do you see from here, fellas? That the width of a mavoi is 4 tfachim, because we're being machshir the mavoi. We're saying it's a kosher mavoi. Now, picture 27, that's where it's less. If it's less than 4 tfachim, then anything beyond 3, where you won't say lavud, anything beyond 3 tfachim, will say it's puzzle. Because again, if it's less than 3 tfachim, we're going to view it as totally closed. So therefore, you'll combine the aleph and the beis as together. If you don't have lavud, it'll be separate. And since the left post is not 4 tfachim, I don't have it kosher mavoi. So let's say a buyer who says you need 4 amis does not agree with this picture, which is Rav Ami Ravasi. Rabbi Yosef would agree with Rav Ami Ravasi that a post of 4 is the width of a mavoi, and a buyer who says you need 4 amis would disagree with Rav Ami Ravasi. That's what the Gemara says.
This is B'Torah's good asik or good achas, Rabbi.
No. This is just what a mavoi is. It's a kosher mavoi. As long as you have a width, you have that left is a width. So take a look. Under the kaira, going towards the front with a width of 4, you have a kosher mavoi. You have a pirza there. It's less than 10 amis. It's not a pirza. That's a kosher mavoi. Any questions?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Rabbi, can you hear me?
Yes.
The pirza being more than 10 feet. Why is less than 10 feet not considered a pirza?
Less than 10 feet is zicha not considered a pirza. It's up to 10, but not more than 10.
True, but we're making an imaginary wall. That's what I'm asking. How?
No, he's giving you a separate halacha. He's telling you, as long as the pirza is not 10 amis, it's a kosher mavoi. If it was more than 10 amis, it would be a pasul mavoi. Not because the 10 would be considered a pirza, and there's no. You're not being matir it. You're not putting it suras pesach there to matir it. Okay, but what's the point? That board is the width of a mavoi, correct? That's 4 amis. Now, says the Gemara. Let's say this is what they argue in. Rabbi Yosef Islay the Ravami. Rabbi Yosef holds like Ravami 4 amis, 4 tfachim. LaAbaya Leslay the Ravami, he holds 4 amis. Amalach Abaya Hasam Sof Mavoi, Hacha Tchilas Mavoi. Over there, it's an existing mavi that you want to maintain. Hacha Tchilas Mavoi. Over here, you want to create the mavoi. There's a difference, fellas. Picture 26. 26. Before there was a hole in there, what did you have? You had 3 walls with a kasha kaira on top. You had a full-fledged mavoi, correct? Good. But by us, picture 25, when you were creating it. You weren't maintaining, you were creating, you were establishing. Says Abaya, I admit, if you have an existing mavoi, that if there's a pirza, as long as the wall is four tfachim, it's kasha. When do I say you have to excavate 4 amas? It's to create the mavoi in the first place. That's the chilik between an existing mavoi and maintaining and establishing a mavoi. Two totally different. Now, why that is, I'm not sure. Why that is, I'm not sure. Taisus Haksid, I'm not exactly sure. But that's the difference. Okay, let's go outside. Let's go outside. Abaya and Rabbi Yosef, they both disagree. Why do they disagree upon a mavoi? To create a mavoi, what's the minimal expanse of a mavoi? Says Rabbi Yosef 4 tfachim. Says Abaya 4 amis. Therefore, if I want to establish a mavoi, to have to dig down a distance of 4 amis, an expanse of 4 amis going in. According to Abaya, 4 tfachim. According to Ravami Ravasi, we bring in according to Rabbi Yosef, we bring in Ravami Ravasi. You have an existing mavoi that a wall breaks in. If you have a wall that is still 4 tfachim with the kair is attached to, it's still considered a mavoi. So you see that that 4 tfachim is a mavoi. Let's say Abaya argues on that. No, Abaya would agree over there. Over there was an existing mavoi. You're not coming to establish a mavoi. As long as it's 4 tfachim, it's okay. Where you're creating the mavoi in the first place, then it's 4 amis. Baruch Hashem. Says the Gemara Vaita. Amar Rabbi Hasam Seif Mavoi Hachat Chilas Mavoi. I Ika Arba Amasin Ilay Lay. Amar Rabbi Mena Minula. Where do I know that from? Abai wants to know where do I know that from? Where do I know that halacha from of 4 amis? Ein Mavaniti Belechi B'Koira Achiyu Batim Mechatzeres Psuchim L'Saychai. Okay, picture number one. Picture number one, the beginning of the Masechta, the classic case. You have houses opening up into a chatzar, opening up into a mavoi. This is what a mavoi is. A mavoi is houses to a chatzar, chatzar to a mavoi, right? What happens if I have one house with one chatzar? Nope. One house, one chatzar, no. It's got to be batim and chatzeros. It's got to be plural. You have to have houses to courtyards, courtyards to ali. So it knows you need. Okay. So now, if your minimal side, guys, your minimal side is going to be 4 tfachim. The pesach of a chatzir is 4 tfachim. Nimsa, the pesach that's 4 tfachim there'll be no wall to the alleyway because it's the exact same. If you're telling me an alleyway is kosher with 4 tfachim and the chatzir pesach's 4 tfachim, where are your side posts? There is no wall. It opens up into an empty space. There's nothing there. Therefore, I must hold it's 4 amis. Says the Gemara, the Tanya, Ein mavoi nitar b'lechi v'koira. A mavi cannot be permitted. Al yedei lechi koira at sheyehei until there are batim v'chatzeros psuchim l'saychai v'i bedalid. And if you're going to tell me that a mavoi is kasha, the wall with 4 tfachim, heichi mishkachaslei. How can you find it? Because the opening of the pesach of the chatzar is 4 tfachim. You won't have a wall. What will you say? The pasach lei b'doifen emtzoi. If you're going to say you're going to put it in doifen emtzoi, guys, picture 29. Picture 29. In other words, I'm putting it in the middle. I'm putting it there. I'm not putting it in the walls. The walls are empty because 4 tfachim. And I'm putting it in the back over there. So if you'd have that, it's in other words, I'm putting in the width. Guys, usually a mavoi you're coming in from the length. So here I'm putting it in the width. I'm putting it in the back. Says the Gemara, that can't be possible. If I'm Rav Nachman, Nakatina, go ahead and take the following Messiah with you. It's got to be a rectangle. It's got to be longer in the width than in the length than it is in the width. And according to the picture 29, it's going to be longer in the width, correct? So therefore, that can't be the case. Rabbi Yosef, the pasuk lebekern is obvious. Now, according to Rabbi Yosef, fellas, where are you going to go ahead and have? He says 4 tfachim. How are you going to accomplish that? Picture 30. Picture 30. You got the back wall. Notice in the bottom. Look at the bottom boxes. Look at picture 30. Look at the bottom boxes on picture 30. You see they're recessed like one tefach, right? And now you have the other 3 tefachim in the wall. So you do have a wall on the side. Look at the bottom on 30, the back boxes. You'll see the wall is recessed in 1 tefach. So that 1 tefach plus an additional 3, that will give you 4. So Rabbi Yosef was 4 tefachim, even though it's a rectangle, we did create a wall. Created a wall. My share is 4 tefachim and not 4 amas.
Laser, do you have WhatsApp handy?
Yes, I do.
I put up a color picture. It's a little better than the one that they're showing you. It's 3 pictures up.
I don't know how to do this.
No, what do you mean? Oh, to
How
put
do I
on
get on the screen here?
I can.
Steve, is that the one that's a small alleyway?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to email that to you, Laser?
No, again, I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. I think as long as the guys basically get the ideas, just get a little visualization. As long, fellas, outside, just quickly outside. Machloikis, Abaya v'Rabbi Yosef, right? 4 tefachim or 4 amas. Where does Abaya know it from? He knows it from the fact that how in the world could you go ahead and have you need chatzeros opening up into it. Each chatz has got to be 4 tefachim. Picture, if your minimal share of an alleyway, guys, is 4 tefachim, how could you have a Pesach of 4 tefachim opening into the sides? It makes no sense, right? That's all. So therefore, I know it's 4 amas. And we question maybe the back wall. It can't be the back wall because it's got to be a rectangle rather than a square right in the back. According to Rabbi Yosef, how does he figure it out? He figures it out by making the back wall receding it in a little bit by 1 and creating a corner over there, and that's where it works. And if you see a picture, that's great. But I think Baruch Hashem, I explained it well. I mean, at least I understand it. Moshe, do you understand it? Okay. Okay.
Rabbi.
Okay, so that's phenomenal.
Rabbi, is this the bottom right picture in Rashi?
The bottom, which bottom right picture?
The one with the indented wall.
Which number?
No, in Rashi. The one you're talking about, 30, picture 30. Is that the one in Rashi that Rashi has?
I never look at Rashi's pictures. They make no sense to me.
No, but to visualize it from the top, it's easier to see.
I don't have a problem visualizing. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good to go. I'm good to go. I explained it. You can understand it. And if not, Bez Hashem, 7.5 years from now, who knows who's going to be around, but you never know. Okay. Amar Abaya. No, I mean, Abaya brings another raya, guys, to 4 amas. Abaya brings another raya to 4 amas. So Amar Rami Bar Chama, Amar Rav Huna. Notice the name. Rami Bar Chama in the name of Rav Huna. Lechi ha-boilet midoifnoi shel mavoy. Okay, a lechi that's boilet from the doifin of the mavoy. Picture 32, page 6. Picture 32, page 6. Okay, whatever book you have, in other words, you have a lechi coming out of the wall, and it's not a little side post, it's a big side post. Now, pachas me arba amos, neither mishum lechi. If it's less than 4 amis, then we'll treat it as a lechi. So if you have that wall coming out, you don't need anything else. However, dalet amos, if we're going to go ahead and consider it dalet amos, then neither mishum mavoy. We're going to treat it like a mavoy. Fellas, take a look. I have my alleyway. Picture an alleyway. It's a perfect rectangle. At the end of the alleyway, on the 4th wall side, you have a 4th wall. 4 amis would make it into a wall. Therefore, I'll view it that it's closed. If it's closed, I do not need a lechi to matter it. If, however, it's not 4 amis, it's considered an open side, and it's just a very big fat lechi, and therefore I'm going to need another lechi on the side. Right? Now, The question is, where do you put the lechi? On the side or on the side of the board? That the Gemara is going to discuss. The bottom line, this is Abaya's raya that 4 amis is considered a mavoi. Because he says, if it's 4 amis, it's a mavoi. It's the wool of a mavoi. And therefore, since it's the wool of a mavoi, it works. And that's my raya. Rabbi Yosef says, "Va'fuki mitaras lechi adik arba amis." In other words, Rabbi Yosef doesn't hold that that's coming to tell you what a mavoi is. It's coming to tell you that it's not a lechi, but not that it's a mavoi. Now, so again, we have machlokis. Abaye has a raya, 2 rayas. He has a raya either from the fact that 4 tefachim doesn't do the job, or a raya from a lechi that's 4 amis. Now we're going to analyze this in itself. That we just brought in, this lechi that's boilet, we're going to analyze it in and of itself. Gufa, Amaroy Brachama Amrafuna. Lechi boilet, bidoif nishal mavli. A lechi that is boilet, that is protruding from the wall of a mavoi, amid beis. Pachas me'arba amis. If the wall is less than 4 amis, nidoin mishum lechi. Then we'll treat it like a lechi. The ain't sarach lechi achalatira. You don't need another lechi. Dalet amos, however, if it's dalet amos, nidim mishum mavoi. We'll say it's a mavoi. It's sarach lechi achalatira, and I need another lechi to mata this alleyway. Now, oisa lechi hechi mamidai. Where do we put that other lechi? If the wall is 4 amis, where are we putting the other lechi? Either mukile bahade. If you're just going to add it on to the 4 amis, a sufi hoda kamaisav aleha. It's just going to, so you'll have a wall of 5 amis. You won't have a lechi. You'll have a wall of 6 amis. You won't have a lechi. So if you just banging a board on there, where's your hecker? So Amra Papa, the mukile leidachki. So you put it on the other side. Take a look at picture 32. Right? Take a look at picture 32. What do you see? You see that board that's right, picture 32. You see the board that's out. But Papa says, on the other side of the alleyway, facing you, the right side, you'll put up a lechi. Correct? That's one. Guys, good? Rav Huda B'Rav Yeshua Amar, Afilu Tema Demuki La Bahadei. You can even say it's speaking where you put the lechi on the boilet wall of 4. The mitafi bay, either make it higher than the wall, or the mevatze bay, make it lower than the wall. So you won't think that it's simply an addition. What was that kasha? Guys, look at my hand. You have my hand, right? So if you go ahead and put another finger, so you have another finger, another finger. Where's your heka? But if it looks like this, or it looks like this, even though it's on the wall, you have a heka. So therefore, the lechi, if it's 4 amis, Rav Papa says put it on the other wall. Says Rav Huda B'Rav Yeshua, no, you don't have to put it on the other wall. Put it on that wall of 4 amis. Just make a distinction in that wall of 4 amis. It should be a little higher, a little lower, and work. Good. So now you see we're analyzing this in itself. Before a raya board is a raya. That if it's 4 amis, that's my raya. That a mavi is 4 amis. Now we're analyzing this din that you said that you put a lechi. Where do you go ahead and put it? Amrav Huda B'Rav Yeshua leya maron el b'mavi shmeina. You know, guys, this 4 amis, how wide is that alleyway? How wide is that alleyway? In other words, is it infinite? Is it smaller? So now, if the mavi is 8 and this is 4, okay, then it can be considered a lechi. Avol b'mavi shiva. If the mavi is 7, niter b'oimed meruba ala paretz. Okay, guys. Take a look at Uncle Rabbi Stern. There are many ways to go ahead and hypothetically, physically close the wall. You're familiar with the concept of lavud. You have something that looks like this, as long as it's in 3 tefachim, boom. Your sukkah is like this, within 3, boom. It's still open. We'll just view it as closed. Right? Go for Nakuma. We'll view the walls. They're like this. We'll view them like, we have ways of halachically going ahead and making houses into Gumby. It was Clark who carried the Gumby. He used to go ahead and we do all these things. There's a concept of oimed merumal aparetz. If you have more standing than open, we'll consider it closed. So if my expanse is 8, this is 8 between my hands, and my wall is 4, So therefore, the empty space is no less than the filled in space. It's the same thing. Conversely, if it's 7, guess what? You got a majority. Then we'll say by majority, oimei, there's more standing than open. You won't even need a lechi. Why? We'll view it like love it. We'll view it as closed. We'll view it totally closed. So lo yamaran says Rav Huna ben Yeshua, lo yamaran that you need a lechi when the wall is boilet for amis, only if it doesn't cover the majority of the expanse, because it's 8. But if it's 7 and it's covering the majority of the expanse, it's covering 4 and there's only 3 left, not 3 tochen, 3 amis left. There we're going to say oimid meruma la paritz, and you would not even need a lechi. That's what Rav Huna says.
Oimid meruma la paritz is its own Torah's construction, Rabbi?
It's the same again. It's like lovewood. It's like
love.
Like you want to bring it to good achis, good asik, where you're going to go ahead and create physical walls that aren't there. That you brought them before the nusi. It's a good point. It's the same thing. So I'm going to put a shua le'amaran el b'mavi shemaina al b'mavi shiva nita ba'omed merubal paritz v'kal v'chayim mechatza. Now, guys, where do we learn the halacha of omed merubal paritz? We learn it from chatzah. Uma chatzah she'enani teres b'lechi v'koira. A chatzah which cannot be made mutter al yedei lechi v'koira, right? But you need a pas. I think for a chatzah we're going to see you need a pas of 4 tefachim. You need a wall of 4 tefachim. It's not good lechi. It's not good l'koira. Niteres ba'omed meruma laparitz. But if there's more closed, there's more closed than open. I'll show you. There's a great picture of this. There's a great picture to explain this. Guys, take a look at picture 139, page 23. Can you carry in that chatzah? Yeah, you could. But what's the reason you could? Because it's in the parts. Guys, you can carry in that chatzah. You know why? Because it's oimed meruba ala paritz. There's more closed area than open area, right? So, guys, listen to the Kal V'chomer. Madach a chatzar, which you cannot matter al lechi v'koire. We say the halacha of oimed meruba ala paritz. Mavoi, which can be mutter al yedei lechi v'koire. Einay din that what? It should be mutter al yedei oimed meruba ala paritz. It's a geschmacka picture. That picture goes there. It says a lot. Says the Gemara Vaita. So you have a Kal V'chomer. So therefore,
those windows are counted as open on that picture on 139.
Of course, it's counted as open
Because you have it's okay. All right. It's no different than the other.
I don't like looking at black boxes.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yes, can I help? How can I help you?
There's no difference between that window type and the actual entrance.
Hesh, that's a chatzar. Hesh, that's not a mavoi. That's a chatzar. Simply, what we're doing is I want you to show you halacha that there's more covered space than open space. That's all.
Okay.
Okay. Now, so now you'll ask the kasha. Malachatza shekein pirtzasa be'eser amos. Toyma b'mavei shepirtzasa be'abet tvachim. In other words, the pirtza of a chatzar has a kula. It's 10 amis. A mavi has a churma that it's pirtza 4. So the chayra, it's not a good Kal V'chomer. After the Gemara, Ksav Rav Huna Brei Yeshua, mavi nami pirtzasa be'esa. A mavi also the pirtza is esa, like we saw that picture. That mavi also is pirtza be'esa. So it is a good Kal V'chomer. Now, Laman Karminon, who do we say this according to? The Rav Huna. Guys, go back to Hayam and Aleph. I wanted to show you. Gufa, look at the bottom. Hayam and Aleph, 2 lines to the bottom. Gufa, Amar Rabbi Bar Chama, Amar Rav Huna. Who is this Torah being said according to? Rav Huna. Now, Rav Huna holds, guys, says the Gemara, Rav Huna pirtzase bedalit svirale. He says that the pirtz is dalit. So it's not a good Kal V'chomer because there's a bigger chumrah of a mavui over a chatzar. The pirtz of a chatzar is 10 amis. The pirtz of a mavui wad is dalit tefachim. So you want to say your Kal V'chomer in Rav Huna, right? How could and your Kabbalah is predicated upon that by you hold that what? That it's also 10 amis in a mavoy. Rav Huna, who you're saying your Torah according to, does not hold of 10 amis in a mavoy. He only holds of 4 tfachim. So therefore, it's not a good Kabbalah because mavoy has a chumrah of 4 tfachim over the 10 amis of a chatzar. And for the Gemara, Rav Huna brave Yeshua time of the nafshi kamar. Einachinami. He wasn't saying according to Rav Yehuda. He was saying according to himself. According to me, that the pirza is 10 amis over there, and there it's 4 tfachim, and there it's 10 amis. Both ways, I have a good Kabbalah. And therefore, since I have a good Kabbalah, I could say that oimid merumal aparetz by what? By mavui, just like I say by chatzar. Rav Ashi Amar, Rav Ashi disagrees. Afilu teim b'mavi shmoina nami. Even right like tzarach lechi. He says a bigger kula. Let's say the expanse is 8 and the wall is 4. So you don't have majority, guys. The expanse is 8 and the wall is 4. You don't have majority. Still, you don't need a lechi. How come? Man not manavshach. I oimid nafish. If the oimid is less, meaning what? It's more. I oimid nafish. If the oimid is more, let's say, guys, with ef shlit samsing, it's not exactly. Here, this is 4 and this is 4, but this is really 4. We can't tell the difference. So manavshach. If it's a little bit more, then you have the halacha of oimid merumal aparetz. If the wall is a little more than the open space. The iparetz nafish need the mishum lechi. Guys, if there's more empty space, that means that what? That this wall is what? A lechi now. Again, if the distance of this is greater, then this wall is a lechi. If this is greater, then it's amrumal aparetz. So in manavshach, you shouldn't need a lechi. Either the wall will be a wall and the empty space will be filled in, or the wall will be a lechi and I don't need another lechi. So therefore, it should work. It says to go, Mayam, what are you going to say? The shavu travayu that they're exactly the same kiyadadi have a suffix divrayim. The suffix divrayim lahako. It's a midrabanan take a suffix, and midrabanan, since the whole din of mavu is the rabbanan, will be makel. Therefore, you do not need a lechi. So just going over what we saw today, we saw 3 halachas. We saw halacha of going ahead and building up something to go ahead and diminish. According to Rav Yosef, it was 1 tefach. According to Abaya, it was 2 tefachim. We had 4 ways of explaining this machlokes. We had a chart that explains whether they're arguing by whether it's with a kaira or it's whether you can use underneath the kaira, not underneath the kaira, whether it works as mechitza or works as heka, or whether the heka has to be below or above, or whether you're worried about diminishing the heka or not. Then we had a chiddush of creating a mavli. What happens if it's less than 10 tefachim and you have to create the space? So there we had machlokes of Yosef who said 4 tefachim and Abaya who said 4 amis. Abaya brought 2 rayas to the 2. He put first raya he bought. If you're going to tell me it's 4 tefachim, no mavli will have a wall. Because again, the chutz is 4 tefachim. This week 4 tefachim. Yosef gets it up. It's speaking Karen Savius, machlokes and pictures. Okay, we got nice pictures on my phone. After the share, I get these nice pictures from Jack and from Steve. I get these nice pictures. But the bottom line is I'm interested in pshat. So and then he brings in another from the lechi haboilet. We said 4 amis that has a din man of a mavli. On the amid base, we said a new chiddush. Where does the lechi go? If it's a din of a lechi, if it's a wall, if it's a din of it's a mavli, where does the lechi go? We said according to a pup on the other wall, according to Rav Huna Brei Yeshua on the existing mavli wall, either the higher or lower. Then we went to the chiddush. If it's only majority, if it's a majority of the alley, you're going to say oimid merumal aparetz. If Ashi wanted to say even if it's not a majority, even if it's close to being the same, it's suffix of vayim. We'll go ahead. Now, there's been a request to have the share earlier Motzei Shabbos. I'm not sure I can. I'm not sure I can, simply because I may have to learn with somebody. So, and he pays me. So since listen, I am retiring halfway, and things are
Rabbi, you just made money from Dershun. What do you need the money for?
I didn't get it yet, Uncle. I didn't get it yet.
We should keep it later. If Rabbi could keep it later, it'd be better.
Okay, so let's keep it at 10, and we'll see in the future. Okay. Anyway, I wish everyone good Shabbos. Thank you so much for. I'm always touched. Everyone. All again.
Shabbos.
David Sass isn't there.
Shabbos.
Sass isn't there. No.
Shabbos, good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
That's all right.